Dear audience, we are young reporters for the environment. My name is Ella Radimská, and today we have the honor to welcome a member of the European Parliament, and not just any member, but the Vice President of the European Parliament, Martin Hojsík. Thank you for your time. Welcome.
Thank you for the invitation.
So, Mr. Hojsík, when you first started working on soil conservation, what surprised or shocked you the most? Can you share with us a particular experience?
Well, there are many things that shocked me and surprised me. One of the things was that we still don't not only not protect the soil in Europe, just like we protect water or air, but also that the situation with the soil is deteriorating and we don't even know properly enough about what's going on with the soil. We're losing the life in our soils in front of the eyes. They're turning to deserts, they're being washed away with erosion, they're being killed with contamination, and this all is happening despite the fact that without healthy living soils, we will not be around.
Okay. Did you know that according to the UN, every 5 seconds we lose a land the size of football field to erosion?
That's one of the worrying factors about the soil, and actually, Slovakia is one of the countries which has a substantial problem with erosion, as many of the higher laying countries do have.
How can such a high amount of land just disappear?
Well, part of it is just simply washed away because but then it's down to one of the big contributions is the way we do agriculture. The very simple ways we plow the fields, that we allow them to be plowed in a way which basically goes down the hill, and then when there is substantial rain, it just helps to wash away the soil.
Oh. What are some signs that piece of land is alive and functioning well as an ecosystem?
Well, some of it, what I call is the smell of healthy soil. But you can see deeper when you look under the microscope, where there is different forms of life. There are really billions and billions of individual organisms in a handful of soil, which is when it's healthy, obviously. And this is something which makes the soil being soil is not just content of organic humus, but actually living organisms.
Oh. I caught the fact that there are more organisms living in 1 tablespoon of healthy soil than there are people on Earth. What can we imagine by this? Does this apply to every soil?
That's an average number, but this is applying to healthy soil. When basically the soil is dying, that means that the organisms living in the soil are dying. It's, of course, if you look at it, there's lots of tiny microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, but even the occasional earthworm, which is the the most one of the most visible one. But this is the beauty of the really healthy soil ecosystem in its diversity and a vibrant life.
So, how can it be that the soil is vanishing, disappearing, becoming less, or there is not as much life in it?
There are multiple factors. One thing is, as we already said, erosion.
Yeah.
Other one, a big one these days, is desertification. Because of the drought, because of the climate crisis we are facing, what we see is insufficient rainfall and part of the soil gradually drying out and turning into desert. Another one is the use of chemicals. If you spray the soil with different pesticides,
Yeah.
they tend to kill life. And that means they help to kill life also in the soil. Then you have the different industrial contamination. And of course, let's not forget what we do is so-called soil sealing, which means we actually cover the soil with concrete, buildings, roads, and all the other things.
Yeah. So, what role does education play in ecosystem conservation? Are Slovak schools doing enough?
I think that there is definitely room for improvement. And for me to learn about the planet, to learn about the life on the planet. It's not only about the biology or geography. It's basically something which should go across all the different topics, where you can, with using examples, learn on the significance of ecosystem, including the soil, using practical examples, taking the pupils out there to the field, not only literal field, but to basically forest parks, and showing, okay, what does healthy environment mean.
Yeah. In the past, we tried to grow a meadow at Narnia Primary School, but the land was too degraded, just a rubble. Today, we are trying to put the soil in circulation thanks to the compost we have set up at the school. Do you have any examples of successful soil ecosystem restoration in Slovakia or abroad? Where is it being possible to turn barren soil into living ecosystem?
It's a good question. I don't have a very, from top of my head, honestly, very concrete examples, but Google it. There are lots of really interesting efforts. Farmers using techniques to increase the carbon and kind of the life in the soil. So you don't listen to me. Go out there and look for the examples yourself that are all around you, and we need to actually make sure that there are more of them.
Okay. Looking to the future, what gives you hope for the future of ecosystems in Slovakia?
Young people like you, because I believe that this is where we see increased care by the young generation. It's not that the older me don't care, but it's the young people are the guardians of the future, and if you will not care, if you will not push for preservation of the environment, the ecosystem, there's going to be less pressure on the politicians, on the businesses to do so. And I think this is where really what is super important is to have young people being active, being out there, and pushing for a better world, because the world will be yours soon.
Yeah. What steps can an ordinary person take when they're living, for example, in a city to help the soil around them?
Well, one thing is separate organic waste at home. And it's not only about the soil protection, this is also a big help to prevent lots of the waste ending up on dump sites or in incinerators, and it's burned, because this is the organic waste should ultimately end up back in the soil, returning to the soil what we took from the soil in some ways, and kind of create this circulation of the help the circulation of the nutrients and the organic content in the soil. And also look for the, if you have a garden, try to take care of it in a sensitive way. Don't use pesticides. Try to really grow things close to nature. Try to look at, it's the beauty is not in a manicured monoculture green lawn. The beauty is in diversity, and in that way you can help not only the soil, but also, for example, different pollinators. Because if you have a diversity of plants and flowers that kind of always have something flowering, it's not only, I believe, more beautiful, but you, so to say, are providing the food for the different pollinators, not only bees, but lots of different pollinators throughout the year, and they need to eat throughout most of the summer.
Yeah. Mr. Hojsík, in conclusion, we would love to hear a message to our listeners. Anything you want to say to us?
It's about what you do that's going to determine the future, and don't let anyone take that away from you.
So, Mr. Hojsík, Vice President of the European Parliament, talked to us today about soil ecosystem. Mr. Hojsík, thank you for your time and that you came here.
Thank you, and thank you for caring about the protection of the soil.
We are grateful to Martin Hojsík for his insights on soil ecosystems. We are young reporters for the environment from Slovakia. The interview was conducted by Ella Radimská, and behind the camera sat Julia Noščáková. Thank you.